What's up, Roulette Fools? Brent with AOB here. Another $1 million challenge video. We're going something completely different today. We're doing a strategy submitted by Pit919 called Flybird. It's an outside 1-to-1 red-black bet. It has a very unique progression strategy. And beyond that, if you get through a certain number of progressions, you go into this special recovery mode, which also has something very special. So stay tuned and watch us, as well as the progression recovery and how we're doing which bet, red or black. It has a very, you got to pay attention to this one. All right, let's get going. Okay, here we go. So this is called Flybird, submitted by Pit919, one of our members. He said he got it from somewhere, but he didn't say where he got it from. Otherwise, I would give a shout out to that channel or that person. So we're going to start off. We're doing $5 units. Okay, our unit's going to be $5. And we're going to start off with 5 units on follow the winner color. Now you can transfer this to high, low, even, odd, black, red. This, when you're playing strictly these outside bets, these outside 1-to-1 even bets, this is a French table with Le Partage, means you get 50% of your bet back if it hits 0. That's ideal for playing these tables if the only bet you have is the outside, because you're getting smack dab 100 or 50% back of what you're betting. Boom, there we go. Let's see if we can get a couple of these. But we're not just playing follow the winner. There's a pattern to this, okay? So we're playing follow the winner right now. We're going to just repeat. And I highly suggest I got a pencil and a paper and I write down W when I'm playing follow the winner, because, well, for me, if you guys watch my live streams or anything, you know I get busy talking about stuff and I forget where I'm at. So this has got a unique progression schedule too. And I'm going to show you what that is as we start going through it. So pay attention. It's not just a martingale. It's not a Fibonacci, although it's very close to a Fibonacci. All right, let's see what we can do here. Again, we're playing follow the winner as long as we win. And we'll take it. We'll take it. In some respects, I really want us to get on a losing streak because I've played this quite a few times in testing. Mixed results, but overall not terrible. And overall, the recovery generally is pretty good. Even when you have a pretty bad run, the recovery is pretty good. Now, Pit919, in some of his descriptions, was a little bit, and he wrote 2 different sections. And in the first section, the way he described the recovery and the way he described what you do when you win and was different. Then he added an addendum and he kind of changed that. So I have to kind of read between the lines and kind of go, did he mean that both times, or is the addendum the true way? So we'll keep going here, but we'll take the wins as we can do. Kind of look at the screen. Let's just quickly go through where we're at now. I'm over $220,000 into this challenge. We're doing great. We're going to kind of take it easy now and play a little bit more constrained here as we go through. For these, you see, I brought $10,000 into this one. We're still going to go for it. I'm using bigger bets. When I've tested this in the past, I normally test stuff with 10-cent units, or I've never tested it this high. All right. Once we lose, we're going to switch to follow the loser. Okay. Now, in this case, it hit black, so follow the loser stays on red. And we're going to go up to 8 units, which in this case is $40 because our unit is $5. So 5 times 8 units is $40. So we went from 5 units to 8 units. I'm going to bring up the progression schedule right here. So you can see what it is right here. If you're kind of clicking through, you can see the unit size is 1. You have 5 units, then 8 units, then 13, 20, and 30. All right. So, all right, that was no good. Now we're going to go follow the winner, and you can see we're on the 5 unit side. So we went 25 to 40 right here. And now we're going to 65 and we're going to go follow the winner. We're going down here on black. All right, there you go. So we're going 65. We're going to follow it on black. Like I said, I sort of want this to go all the way through the 5 progressions that you see there, because once we get through the 5th progression, it goes into recovery mode. And I want you to see the recovery mode. So let's see what happens. All right, let's go. All right. We just hit 65. Okay. We just hit 65. Our next progression is 100 and we're playing follow the loser. So it was red. And we're going to stay right where we're at because we were at black previously. Now we're going to go to red on that. And let's pull up this progression schedule while they're cleaning that again. All right, so you can see we went from 40 to 65. Now we are at 100 because it's 20 units. 20 units at the fourth progression. All right, and we have $5 units. 5 times 20 is $100. And then you can see our final progression is 30 units. 30 times 5, $150. So what happens after we get through these progressions? I'll show you, because again, it takes a whole nother twist and a whole nother turn. But like I said, write down, if you want to play it this way, write down the winner, loser, where you're at in this progression. Right now, we're playing follow the loser now. Again, I can't stress enough. To me, keep it simple, stupid. This overly complicates this whole thing of, I'm going to play follow the winner for a spin, then follow the loser for a spin, then follow. Sorry. And I'm not saying it doesn't work for anybody, but it's no better. And I know my good friend Derek Croft wrote in one of the previous videos, follow the winner is better because I happen to have, in my experience, seen longer runs. I will counter with that I think you only think you see that because it's easier to look at a wheel and see a long run of a color. Okay, so now we're going to 100 on on black, because we're playing follow the loser. We're playing $100 here. Our next bet would be $150 because that's what the progression chart. Let's get that out of your face right there. All right, let's go. So I think when you look at it and you see, oh, look at all the colors together, you don't notice the chops as much. It's just not visually sticking out to you. But in my experience of playing it, the chops happen all the time, all the time. I played it where it's just chop, chop, chop. All right, here we go. So now we're going to go 150, follow the winner. There we go. Like I said, the Pit 9109 said the person he got it to says he makes roughly like $1,900 an hour if he's playing $5 units or a $25 total starting bet. I call total bunk on that. I'm not saying it's not possible if you have an amazing run. I call BS on that. I call 100 BS. I would challenge that guy to come on our channel and let's play this for 10 hours and see if you're averaging $1,900 to $2,000 an hour. All right, there we go. So right now we're playing follow the loser. So when we hit that, right, and we hit it at 150, we're going to go down here. You roll back one step. We're going back down to $100. We're playing follow the loser. It just hit red. You stay on that pattern until you lose. Then we would switch to follow the winner. Now, you win once during recovery, right? You step back one step. If we win again, we're going to step back 2 steps. Now, I'm going to take a look at it. And if we recover right where we're supposed to be at, I'm not even stepping back 2 steps. All right, but that's not going to happen. All right, now we're playing follow the winner. And we're going back up to 150. All right, but at least you can see here on our graph that at least we're up more than we were the previous step. So recovery isn't bad on this thing, especially once we get past the 5th progression, which is, in this case, we're at our 5th progression. If we lose this one, we go into a whole different recovery mode. Now, Derek, my friend, he could be looking at us going, look at all those reds. See, if you've been listening to me and following the winner, you'd been winning that whole time. Okay. I can't argue with him on this particular session, but all right, we're continuing to play follow the winner. We're at $150. You can see, to me, our high was 75. We're at 45. We're only $30 down. I don't like going down back just one step to 100, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it because that's maybe how he claims he makes $1,900 an hour, is being very, very aggressive. I think progressions are life. I think you keep your bets up like this high and you go on a really bad run, you're going to end up crashing a lot of the times. I personally would go to a $30 bet, get back to even, then start the cycle again. But let's go with this one. Let's see how well this one does. This is what I'm talking about. All right, we just lost $100. Now we're going to follow the loser, which means we're going to stay right where we're at. And we're going to go 20, and we're going to go up to 150, which is the next and last step insofar as this first phase goes. We lose this one, I'll show you, we'll go into a completely different recovery model. And if we never get to there by the time we're done with this session, I'll just show you anyway. Okay, I'll show you, I'll walk you through it anyway, and we'll actually play through it for a couple spins to show you what that looks like. All right, here we go. Let's hope we can get a win, but I kind of want to get a loss so that I can show you guys. Okay, we're still on follow the loser, but look at this. We are in session profit. We're up ahead too. So I told you the recovery is pretty good, but I'm going to play it the way they said it to do it. We're going to come back one step, which is a $100 bet, follow loser. We're going to 100 on black. I really disagree with this method, but I guess if you really want to play a very hawkish method, then keeping this progression will get you profits quicker. But I also think it's going to get you into debt sooner, and it's also going to give you an ulcer a lot sooner in life. All right, let's see if we can get a win here. We're playing follow the loser. There we go. We got one. Boom. All right. So now we're at 100. Now, when you win, after your first win on recovery, we go back down 2 steps, which is going to be from 100 down to 40. We're playing follow the loser. So we're going to go up to red, and we're going all the way back down to $40, which is 8 units. Our units are $5. Hopefully that's kind of sinking in with you, how this thing goes, how we're taking, because he told me he was just betting 5. When he wrote his progressions out, he just said he was betting a $5, then he was betting 8, then 13, 20, and 30. Well, if that's all someone tells you is I'm betting 5, then I'm going 8, then I'm going 13, then I'm going 30, that can be very, very difficult to follow. All right, we're at 40, right? Now 40, if you look on the chart, that's only 2 up. So we're going to go all the way back down 2 more steps, which is base bet. And we're still playing follow the loser. So we're going to go on black. All right. So I told you, I've played this a bunch of times. Recovery is pretty decent on this thing because once you get through those 6 steps, those first 5 progressions, and you go into recovery model, which we have yet to do, the recovery model is even a little bit more aggressive and a little bit different, but it works pretty well. And I'm hoping we can kind of get there, but it doesn't look like we will. And we're at 11 minutes. So when we get up here to, I'd like to run this one for at least, we're still on follow the loser. So we're going to go up here to red. I'd love to run this one for at least 20 minutes today, guys. I'd like this to be a little bit longer, maybe even 25 minutes so that we can actually see how this plays out. So stick around. We will get through that final progression. I'll show you what the recovery is. And actually the recovery is pretty good. I can't knock. However, I have a modification that I would rather do on recovery, but I'll show you what Pit 919. And now he kind of was a little bit confusing because he wrote, now we're going to play follow the winner and we're going to go up to 40, which means we stay put because it hit black. Now we're going to go black right here and we're going to go up to $40. Okay. He wrote it in one way and then he wrote another paragraph and explained it a completely different way. So sometimes when people do that, I kind of have to interpret what you are writing if it's not very clear sometimes. And I'm not knocking anybody. It's sometimes very difficult, especially on one that has so many steps, to write it out and think of every single detail. So what I recommend is after you write a strategy out, literally play it, not how you know it, but how it's written. All right, there we go. So that was at 40, right? That was at the second step and we're playing follow the winner, right? That was $40. So we're going to go back down to base bet, which is 5 units, $25. So when you're playing these outsides, I don't care how you play it. You will go through every session, pretty much every single session, you will be going through 5 of these steps and have to go into that special recovery mode. So, and no matter what, if we get up close to right around 20 minutes and we haven't even begun to hit into recovery mode, then we'll get there. I'll show you that myself. All right. Now we're going follow the loser, which means we stay put because it hit red. And we're going to go to $40 here. All right. Let's see. I actually want him to lose a bunch of times so that we can get into recovery mode and I can show you that. And I'm being a jerk and covering up the screen with the thing. I apologize. I got to stop doing that. Wish I could put an overlay on there and put a timer on it so it comes off. So sorry for keeping that up there. All right. Let's see what we can do here. Follow the losers where we're at right now. We're at the second step, which is 8 units or $5 units. That's $40. All right, we get there. So we're follow the loser, which means we're going to go back down to base. $25, which is 5 units, and we're up there. So yeah, sorry for putting the Excel sheet over the top of it. Yeah, that sucked. I'm sorry. So, okay, let's keep going how we said. Now, like I said, he says he's getting around $2,000 an hour. I'm sorry. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. I mean, right here, we've had a pretty good run right here. We're almost at 300 and we're a quarter of the way through. Even if I multiply that by 4, that's $1,200. That's still a pretty far cry. I'm not saying you can't get that. All right, now we're playing follow the winner. So we're going to stay on black and we're going to go to 40, which are 8 units, $5 units, 8 units, $40. And let's see how this one plays out. Okay. Also, as I promised you guys, we are working on a new comment giveaway. We're just dialing it up. I promise I'll release it, and I promise I will make up for it for the videos that we've missed not having the comment giveaway. You're still going to need to comment. You're still going to need to like, subscribe, and notification, but you won't have to take the screenshots. You won't have to post every single day. It's going to run all week, and at the end of the week, you're going to put every video thing down in there. All right. So now we've hit the winner. Now we're going to play follow the loser. We lost that one again, which is good. We're going on to the next step, which is 65. Okay, 65. And let's see. I actually really want to lose on this one. This is 13 units. 13 times 5 is 65. So let's see what we can do here. Again, I'll pop this up real quick, but I'm not gonna take my eyes off of it. You can see that we're right here at the 65. The third step is 65, or in other words, 13 units. Here we go. And we lose again. Okay, now we're going up to the next step, which is 100. And we are playing follow the winner now. And black, we're going to throw $100 on black. Yeah. $1,900 an hour. What a joke. Now, if you saw it on a channel, what I think's happening is I'd be willing to bet if that guy's showing it that he's winning $2,000 roughly an hour, I'll bet you he's recording these things over and over, he or she recording it over and over and over until they get the result that they want to show you. And so look what I'm doing every hour. All right. We win 100. So we're going back. We're staying with follow the winner and we're rolling it back to 65. There we go. Now I look at there and I go, man, you know, follow the winner here would be doing pretty well, right, Derek? So you got me there. You got me there. But this, this isn't even one that I follow this weird pattern. But again, I say if you play this out enough, it all washes out in the end. It all washes out in the end. I've seen some people say you play the pattern from the 7th last number and you do the opposite of the 7th last number. All right, there we go. That's 65. Now we won. We're going to go back 2. We're going to roll back 2. This would take us all the way back down to base bet because remember, on your first, after you lose, and then you finally win, you come back 1 step on your first win. After that, you go back down 2 steps on a win, which for this is going to take you all the way back down to base bet. Okay. Plus, we're already in the session profit at 290. We're at 325. So I just, no matter what, I don't like leaving my bets up higher than they need to. And I can't stress that enough. All right. We lost on that one. We're going to play follow the loser, which means we stay right where we're at and we go up to 40. All right. We're approaching 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do here is let's play this through in a scenario in which we go all the way up through 5 steps and we go into recovery mode. So we're going to have to put a little of our imagination on there first. Let's see what happens. We're going to play this through. If we get into, if we were able to win or whatever, we're going to pretend like we didn't win, like we lost. I will do a balance down here and just say, pretend we get back down to 0 balance. All right, good. So we're going to keep going this out. Now we're going to go follow the winner. And what were we on? We were at 65. We're going to go 65 on red. Let's see if we can get this thing. Let's see if we can lose 3 more times. This one and 2 more times. That would get us through 5 steps. And then we can legitimately get into recovery mode. I want you to see this actually how it plays versus me showing you pretending like we lost. I really was hoping we were going to get into a deeper hole in this because I don't judge a strategy so much. Well, first of all, we don't really judge a strategy on one session, although there's some strategies where I'll play and I'll go, yeah, that's complete junk. All right, now we're playing follow the loser because we were on winner, so we stay put and we're at 65. Now we're going to go to 100. Okay, we're going to go to 100. All right, here we go. It's 20 units. 20 units on the 4th step. 20 units times 5 is 100. Okay, let's go. So I'm actually hoping we lose this one and the next one, but no matter what, if we win this one, we're going to go into recovery mode and pretend that we just busted through the 5th step and now we're in recovery mode. And I'm going to show you what that looks like so that you have that. All right, let's go. Starting up 2 new channels. AOB University. We won, dang it. Okay, let's pretend we didn't. Let's say we lost, and let's say, I'm not gonna do the math, but we were at what, 195, we would be at $95. So we'd be at $95, we just busted our 5th step. What you do now is, you still continue playing your follow the winner or follow the loser. We're on, let's just say we're on follow the loser. You still continue that same pattern, but you go all the way down to your base total bet, which in this case is 5 units, $25. And you're going to go back to that if you busted out through your 5th. Okay. So we lost that one. Okay. So we're going to keep playing this. Now to see, look at this. We got half our money back on that. We're going to stay on this one because it was 0. So I'm not going to switch follow the winner, follow the loser. We're going to continue playing follow the loser, but we hit 0. That gave us $12.50 back for free. You know, and that really actually is very important, especially if you start betting and you go into recovery. That extra half back really, really, really helps out with your recovery. All right, so we're going to stay at the base bet until we lose, no matter how long it takes. And again, we're not going to count to 0. All right, there we go. Now that we won, let's just say, to make math easy, let's say we were way down here and the 25 brings us back to even, but our high was 325. We're going to continue playing follow the loser, and we would bet half of whatever it was from here to there. So let's just say it was 300. We would bet $150 following the loser. So whatever you're at, wherever you're at, and whatever your session high was, you're going to take that sum divided by 2, and that will be your bet. You're betting half the amount you need to get back up to the top. If you lose here, you would simply go back down to base bet, rinse, and repeat. So let's pretend we did win here. So we won half. Now, if your bet amount in this case was $150, if your bet amount is in our progression schedule, you go back down to the next lowest progression, and we're playing follow the loser. So we just had a $150 bet. Now you would follow the progression schedules down. And this is where it gets a little hairy because initially he told me you bet half, half, half. And then he wrote, you keep having your bet until you recover. First of all, I think that's silly to keep having our bet until we recover because you're just, okay. So we win again there. We see we went down to a $100 bet. We went from 150 to 100. Now, you need to look and see where you're at. Most likely, you are probably at recovered. If not, you're going to go down 2 units now, and it would be $40 here. I'm going to just do $50 because we went from 100, right? We went from $100. We should be going down 2 units, which is 65. Let me pull the chart up for you again. We were at 100. After you win the first one from 150 to 100, we go down 2 to 40. And we just won again there. So at that point, we should be fully well recovered and we go back down. So let me just give a really quick recap. You follow that progression schedule. If you get past the 5th one, you go down to base bet until you win 1 time. Continuing the follow the winner or follow the loser, switching every time you lose. And then once you do get a win, whatever the total sum of deficit is of where you're at versus what your high session high was, you take that amount, you divide it in two, and that's your next bet. Okay. If that gets you into your progression chart, in this case, our highest progression was 150. If it gets you anywhere within there, you start following that progression chart back down. If for some reason you've gone on this massive loss and you're still higher, you cut the bet in half again until you win. What happens if you cut your bet in half and you lose? You go back down to base bet. In this case, it was $25, 5 units. And as soon as you win, you take that deficit, cut it in half, rinse and repeat. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. It's a little bit weird. I get it. It's a little bit weird. My adjustments, my only adjustments would be screw the follow the winner, follow loser, changing every time. Pick a pattern, pick a follow the winner, pick a follow loser, stick with it. If anything, wait till you get like 3 losses in a row before you switch. So if it's chopping, 3rd loss on the chop, and you're playing follow the winner, maybe then switch. But this switching every single one, it's unnecessarily complicated. There is absolutely no advantage to it whatsoever. I will challenge the owner of this strategy if he says, oh, yes, there is. I will challenge you right now to come on live. Let's do it. We'll do the same exact strategy. I'll play whatever. Follow the winner, follow the loser. I'll stick with a similar thing. You switch every single time. Let's see how each of us does. All right, that's it for today. We ended up 600, 750. Not bad for 25 minutes or so. And we were just kind of dinking around. Now, we did get kind of lucky because I pushed my bets up at the end and we happened to win those because I was showing you the recovery method. Nonetheless, we're at 600. I'll take it. All right, that's it. Be good humans. Be on the lookout for our 2 additional channels. We've got AOB Originals and we have AOB University. We'll be throwing up videos there pretty soon. Jump into our Discord if there's something you'd like to see on University or Originals or whatnot. Hit us up. And I also hope you guys like the new look and feel of our thumbnails. Our team has been working really, really hard on trying to make us unique and stand out instead of just being vanilla with the standard thumbnails that everybody else is using. We're trying to be, we just want to be different regardless. So let us know. Let us know how those are doing. And if you see anything you think that would be better, we'd love to hear from you. All right, that's it. Us against the casinos. Always. Let's get it. Cheers.